Welcome to today's video on unlocking the power of progressive overload. Are you tired of feeling like your workouts are getting stale and predictable? Do you struggle to see progress or feel like you're not challenging yourself enough? You're not alone. Many of us have been there, wondering how to take our fitness journeys to the next level. Progressive overload is a fundamental concept in strength training that can seem intimidating at first, but trust me, it's worth diving into. In this video, we'll explore what progressive overload is, why it matters, and most importantly, how you can start incorporating it into your workout routine today. From understanding the science behind muscle growth to practical tips for implementing progressive overload in your daily life, we're going to cover it all. So, if you're ready to take your fitness journey to new heights and unlock the full potential of progressive overload, then let's get started. What is progressive overload? Progressive overload is a training principle that involves gradually increasing the intensity of your workouts over time. This can be achieved by adding weight, reps, or sets to your exercises, as well as reducing rest time between sets. The idea behind progressive overload is to challenge your muscles in new and different ways, forcing them to adapt and grow stronger. When we first start a new exercise program, our bodies are naturally drawn to ease and familiarity. We tend to stick with what we know and avoid pushing ourselves too hard. However, if we want to see real progress and achieve significant gains in strength and muscle mass, we need to challenge ourselves in some way. This is where progressive overload comes in. It's a key component of any successful fitness journey. The benefits of progressive overload are numerous. By challenging our muscles more frequently, we can stimulate greater growth and development, leading to increased strength, improved endurance, and enhanced overall fitness. Additionally, progressive overload helps us avoid plateaus and burnout by constantly pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zones. So how do we start implementing progressive overload in our daily lives? This is where things get interesting. Understanding the science behind muscle growth. When it comes to muscle growth, there's a lot of misinformation out there. We often hear that the more you lift, the better, or that cardio is key for weight loss. But what's really going on beneath the surface? Muscle growth, also known as hypertrophy, occurs when we challenge our muscles with resistance training. When we do this, tiny tears are created in our muscle fibers, which then signal to our bodies that it's time to repair and rebuild. This process involves a series of complex cellular events that ultimately lead to increased muscle mass. But what drives this process? Research has shown that muscle growth is heavily influenced by factors such as genetics, nutrition, and overall training volume. When we train with progressive overload, we're essentially telling our bodies that it's time to get bigger and stronger. But how do we do that? One key concept to understand is the role of muscle protein synthesis, MPS. MPS is the process by which our bodies build new muscle tissue after a workout. By stimulating MPS through resistance training, we can promote greater muscle growth and development. In order to effectively stimulate MPS, we need to be aware of other factors such as nutrition, recovery time, and overall training volume. Let's explore these concepts in more detail. Nutrition for progressive overload. When it comes to progressive overload, nutrition plays a critical role in our success. What we eat and how much we eat can either hinder or help our progress. First, let's talk about protein. Protein is essential for muscle growth and repair, as it provides the building blocks for new muscle tissue. Aim to consume 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, spread across 3 to 5 main meals. Carbohydrates are also important for energy and endurance, which can be beneficial when increasing training volume with progressive overload. Focus on complex carbs such as brown rice, quinoa, and sweet potatoes rather than simple carbs like white bread or sugary snacks. But what about healthy fats? Fats play a critical role in hormone regulation and overall health, making them an essential component of any workout diet. Look for sources like avocado, nuts, and olive oil. It's also worth mentioning that calories are king when it comes to progressive overload. We need to be consuming enough energy to support our training goals, which can mean eating more than we normally would. However, this should come at the expense of processed foods and excessive sugar intake. By prioritizing whole nutrient-dense foods, we can ensure that our bodies have the necessary fuel to handle progressive overload. Now, let's talk about recovery. The role of recovery in progressive overload. Recovery is just as important as training when it comes to progressive overload. Without adequate rest and recovery time, we risk injury, burnout, and plateaus. When we train with progressive overload, our muscles are subjected to increased stress and inflammation. This can lead to soreness and fatigue if not properly recovered from. However, research has shown that recovery is key to muscle growth and adaptation. So, what does adequate recovery look like? Research suggests that allowing 48 to 72 hours of rest between intense training sessions is ideal for most people. However, this may vary depending on factors such as fitness level, genetics, and individual needs. During our recovery time, it's also essential to prioritize nutrition and supplementation. Ensure you're getting enough protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fats to support muscle repair and growth. Consider adding supplements like creatine or HMB to enhance recovery and growth. Rest is also important for the mind-body connection. Taking time off from training can help reduce stress and improve mental clarity. Make sure to schedule regular rest days into your routine and prioritize self-care activities such as meditation, yoga, or spending time with loved ones. Now that we've covered nutrition and recovery, let's talk about how to implement progressive overload in our daily lives. Practical tips for implementing progressive overload. So, you're ready to start incorporating progressive overload into your workout routine. Here are some practical tips to get you started. First, track your workouts. Keep a log of your exercises, sets, reps, and weight used. This will help you identify areas where you can increase the intensity. Next, set realistic goals. Aim to increase weight or reps by 2.5 to 5 kilograms every 2 weeks, rather than trying to do too much too soon. When it comes to choosing exercises, focus on compound movements such as squats, deadlifts, and bench presses. These work multiple muscle groups at once and are essential for overall strength development. Consider working with a personal trainer or experienced coach who can help guide you through the process of progressive overload. Don't be afraid to experiment and try new things, but also don't get discouraged if progress doesn't come immediately. Progressive overload is a journey, not a destination. Lastly, remember that consistency is key. Make sure to stick with your workout routine for at least 6 to 12 months before reassessing and making changes. By following these practical tips, you can start implementing progressive overload in your daily life and unlock the full potential of strength training. Putting it all together. We've covered what progressive overload is, how it works, and how to implement it into our workout routines. Now let's talk about how to put it all together. The key to successful progressive overload is consistency and patience. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of new workouts and progress, but without a long-term plan, we risk burnout and plateaus. So what does this look like in practice? Aim to increase your training volume by 10 to 20% every 2 weeks, while also gradually increasing the intensity through progressive overload. For example, if you're doing 3 sets of 8 reps on Monday, try adding a 4th set or increasing the weight on Wednesday. Remember, progressive overload is not just about lifting heavier weights. It's about challenging your muscles in new and different ways. This can be achieved by changing exercises, reducing rest time between sets, or using different types of training such as HIIT or high-intensity interval training. The benefits of progressive overload are numerous. By challenging our muscles more frequently, we can stimulate greater growth and development, leading to increased strength, improved endurance, and enhanced overall fitness. So what's next? Keep pushing yourself to new heights with progressive overload, but also remember to prioritize recovery, nutrition, and consistency along the way. And finally, don't be afraid to reach out for support. Whether it's a personal trainer, experienced coach, or online community, there are countless resources available to help you on your journey. By putting all the pieces together, you can unlock the full potential of progressive overload and take your strength training to new heights.